So Nigerians in general are narcissistic, huh? So like back to this topic, me, I healed from narcissistic abuse in particular, which if you don't know, the end goal is to basically warp you into a duplicate version of the reality they want you to perceive, to be another version of them, to be a slave and will to their bidding, right? That's the end goal. It's to completely cripple you and make you be unrecognizable from what you want to be. It's to have you become them and what they want of your reality. That's a negative tone, but it is the end goal so that you serve them. You meet their needs without fighting back, without resistance. If there's a vampiric relationship, that's kind of a clear definition of one of them, right? So, as crazy as that is, that's what I healed from, being super close to really losing myself because like my body had physical symptoms that showed I had an itchy, scaly, peeling rash around my mouth, which was a giant, red beard that showed I was not free to express myself in that environment, right? So I healed from that by filming myself with self-reflection and realizing my entire life was a lie, right? I help people literally stop lying to themselves, to do the things that they say they're going to do, to walk the talk and become a better human being. Now, should they wish to follow through with the commitment of doing that, they will have better relationships, right? So I'm sharing that process for self-healing that I did for myself because there's no clearer mentor or teacher or therapist or healer or guide or entertainer than you because you know yourself better than anyone else. You just have to start having a relationship and conversation with yourself and start transforming your negative inner dialogue into its exalted form, the positive, to serve you. Have a positive relationship with pain to redirect your experience and have a heart full of a conversation with God, right? So that's what I'm helping people do. So if you have problems with this, it will become abundantly clear how you need to navigate your life and your relationships when you do my process. Okay, cool. Is there you can't be more specific on how I can help you, so I'll try and be mindful. I'll try and ask again in the future. Um, I feel like this meeting is kind of drawing to a close. So is there anything else more that you want to share with me?
I'll make sure I watch your masterclass and I'll, I'll get back to you when I'm done.
Cool. Did you learn anything about me in the three meetings we had? Through one big meeting?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think like everybody else, man. It's because I retrained my brain to think a certain way that served me and others at the same time. So here's my tip for you that I said was going to help you. The one statement. You ready?
Yeah.
The lifelong quest of all of your relational problems and all of your connection with yourself is about learning to love yourself and others at the same time. To love is to take something as a part of yourself, to take someone as a part of yourself. It is literally to own people. So when you take somebody's best interest into account, you're having responsibility, comma, with others, accountability. In other words, love in action. Learning to love yourself has to do with self awareness. When you apply that depth of seeing yourself and that awareness that is newfound into the context of seeing others and valuing them where they're at, learning to love yourself and others at the same time is the real lifelong quest. It is the real journey and is what will solve all of your problems with inner peace and in being able to share that harmony with other people as well. Love yourself and others at the same time. Okay?
Yep.
Does that help?
It does. Thank you.
Super. Nothing else you like to add or that I should know or that you like to request from me?
Um, when you said she learned to love others, also, um, me not being empathetic, it doesn't mean I don't love other people. Like I love them, just that I have a hard time communicating, showing it. Like not like I don't love them, just that I just most times because I love them, that's why I actually like try to make them um do what is necessary, like to help them because at the end it's going to help them. Like sometimes I can be mean, but it's because I love them. That's why I'm mean to them. Like I'm not like nice, but I'm not nice, but like I'm kind, but I'm not nice. That type of analogy. Yeah. Like if I'm nice, I'll be like trying to give them what they want. But
Right?
if I'm kind, I'm giving them what they need. Yeah, what they need. And most times you're not going to be empathetic then like about it. And you just have to like tell them how it is. I have to show them how it is. And also and that the second my second question is um also sometimes you show people love, you show other people love, they don't replicate it back and they try to use it. They use it against you most times. Like you show them love and they keep like coming for more and they're like this guy is always there for you. So like they tend to use it, they tend to use you, but they don't give it back. Like how do you deal with that type of situation?
Okay. First off, I understood the situation of the first part, but you didn't ask a question, or at least I didn't understand what it was.
Yeah. So it wasn't really a question. I don't know. I said the question. It wasn't really a question though. Yeah. I was just like explaining the love others part because you were like I thought when you said that I should love others was because I was not loving other people by not being empathetic.
Right. So do you want me to try and
That was
address
I
that?
thought. Yeah.
Okay. So kindness comes with an expectation. Your kindness does. Actual kindness is like a gift without an expectation. You don't do it for the sake of an outcome. That's not being kind, right? So I just want to reframe that word for you to start. But what I will say is when you love someone, you consider their best interests, right? So if you don't understand what their best interests are, you don't know how to take the appropriate action toward meeting their needs. In order to help somebody, you have to know what their needs are. Because we're fragmented human beings. We have trauma, we're broken apart in little parts, we're separated, you know. We're disassociated from this part of ourself and this part because things didn't work out when they tried to connect previously. There's things that are conflictual within us and also potentially incompatible unless if we heal and integrate and bring them back together to function properly. And so people have unique preferences for different reasons, whether that serves them or it doesn't. So your ability to understand them as a person, what their specific needs are, and how to address them, and to better connect to how that might look for them so that you can truly serve them is, as I was talking about in the conversations in the chats, service is a ministry. To meet a need that needs to be met is ministry. It's also the purpose of business. You meet a need is a service, you get paid for it. That's all you have to do, technically, right? And so you're in the business of people. You're in the people business. You're never going to get away from people no matter how you transact, right? So it's an exchange for something, you get money, but a money is just a representation of energy. So instead of giving honey in exchange for meat, you now have this thing in between people, an icon that is you interacting and having connection with people normally as a service of exchanging your energy. So when you're trying to create something that is an outcome on behalf of other people's best interests, it is literally to have trust. They're trusting you to capitalize on behalf of their own best interests. They're relying on you to act on behalf of their best interests. That's what trust is. So trust is given. It's not earned. You have to give it. If they break it, they violate you. You still have to give trust to allow them to be in your life, to earn it back on behalf of your best interests. So they have some sense of confidence in you to confide in you, right? So the reality is you have a relationship with someone. You have a contract that is always changing because people have new preferences if they're evolving and growing and they're not the same energetically. They're not stagnant anymore. So naturally, they should communicate what their newfound preferences are. And it is your duty to inquire about that. It is your duty to meet that and not make any assumptions. The more you allow the assumptions to be made without communicating to connect, the more you create your own conclusions thinking you know how to love them when you don't. Now, you want to be cautious because you want to truly know what love is. You don't want to fall into the illusion of a toxic type of love that they're trying to get you to do, right? So you have to better understand what love is, as I'm telling you it is. Whoops. You'll understand what love is on your own as you practice this. But if you're not taking your actions in accordance with an inner standing of truly seeing them, hearing them, feeling them, deeply understanding them, and you're pushing them in a certain direction, maybe you're roughing them up and they don't want to be roughed. They want you to tell you the truth, but they don't want you to add in insults with it, you know, then you're not really loving them as they deserve to be loved or want to be loved because they want their needs to be met with sincerity, but without the degradation, right? So you have to be considerate, you have to be open, and you have to be willing to both give and receive at the same time, which is hard when you're in an unhealed state. Because when you're in an unhealed state, you're constantly looking for me, 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 me. What are my needs? What matters to me? I need to express be selfish, right? And we're conditioned to forget how to be open like a child, give and receive at the same time. So when you heal that, you become cooperative again and you can work with people. You're open, but you're still focused on me and the potential to meet their needs. When you're really, really healed and you're in the right energy, you're open, God's energy is flowing through you, you're more collaborative. You're looking for the double positives with people instead of, in order for me to get mine, you have to lose yours. That's competition. Cooperation is, I get mine, but you may or may not get yours. So you're looking for the double positives. The double positive is to love yourself and others at the same time, to meet your own best interest, to meet their best interest, to communicate and make those needs conscious instead of unconscious, conscious communication, conscious expectations, having conscious relationships, acting with awareness and action. That that's accountability, love and action. Does that help you?
Thank you.
Did it answer your question? That was a lot.
Yeah, yeah, kind of.
Kind of. What did I miss, bro?
Thank you. Thank you
Sure. What did I miss
very,
then?
very much.
What was the question again? How do I love properly? And how does it, I think the second one
Yeah,
was toxic love or something.
yeah, like people who don't love like you, how do you deal with them?
So
That,
don't love like you how? Be more specific so I can actually answer that properly.
like you said that you should love people and yourself at the same time. So, what about people who don't love others like themselves at the same time?
You mean people who want you to be a version of what they think you should be? And so that's
Yes.
loving? Toxic?
Yeah. How do you deal with toxic relationships? You just avoid them.
So, like I said, you have to go through the process of, if you're not unhealed, being selfish, right? And then moving to trying to act on behalf of other people's best interests, which is a process. It's a process of peeling back the layers of unlearning the lies that you've been told, the things that don't serve you, and trying to do the things that do. Which, when you're content here a little bit more, you can feel into help how you can add to their pool over there. But when people are tearing away at you consistently, you lose your sense of perception. You lose your sense of direction. You forget what they're telling you how to think, but not only how to think, but how to feel. And nobody should ever have the right to tell you how to think and how to feel, right? So you have
Yeah.
to become reattuned to all of that and get a governance about your sense of self. And so you have to build your own self contract construct and be able to individuate from them, to know who you are apart from their views, and to love and respect yourself as you learn to love and respect them as well. But if they're clawing at you, trying to poke you, tear down your boundaries, peel away your skin, and dig their dirty fingers inside of you, then obviously they're not respecting your sense of self. And a boundary is just a sense of self. I like blue, you like yellow. It's not a problem till we do something together where we have to both use one or the other colors or both and work on a project together. So, realistically speaking, what you're going to have to do is merge views with them for some act together. And a relationship is a joint participation in the good of life together. So there's such a thing as loving from a distance. Like Michael Jackson said, I love them, but I don't know them. So you can't really get an intimacy with them to see, hear, know, deeply understand them. Into me see. And to some degree, that's okay. To another degree, you may feel something is missed. The problem is if you don't actually have such a deep level of understanding where you understand those people and how to interact with them, which is really deep, you know, then you can't connect with them how you would desire to. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard. But on a basic preference that changes according to anybody you interact with, there's something called a social contract. And so how you deal with people, and I called it the social contract. I literally made a song about it. You know, my third masterclass, which you haven't seen, the third one that I would put out, is about this. But when you have a relationship with someone, you basically have to be on the same page. And you have to be, number one, responsible for your own emotions. If they're not responsible for their own emotions and you're not responsible for your own emotions, you're making them responsible for your emotions. That's not, number one, not possible, but number two, it's a manipulation for your somebody else's processing system, which you shouldn't be able to do this to other people. As a child, we needed parents to process our emotions for us because we couldn't do it for ourselves. Once you get to a certain age, you're no longer moldable like plastic. You can self-regulate around age 7, right? But you're reliant on them to be able to do this for you. If you're doing that in adulthood, it's a problem. Okay. So, number one of the social contract, there's 4 points. I am responsible for my own emotions. Number two is I am willing to improve and accept feedback. These four numbers, they're a healthy filter for relationships. So it's how you can perceive and read a relationship and see if it serves you and see and have the intent to connect with the person on certain preferences and boundaries, extensions of your micro sense of self. And you communicate to connect with them. But when it doesn't serve you, you disconnect on that very thing. So number one is I'm responsible for my own emotions. Number two is I'm willing to improve and accept feedback. If you're open to receiving, you're open to learning, you're open to improvement, that means you can have the potential for a positive relationship with this person because you're receiving. And you're being responsible for your own emotions, which means you're self-regulating, you're independent. And number three is, so number two is I'm willing to improve and accept feedback. Number three is I will communicate to connect with people so I can be understood. You have the intention to communicate so as to connect with people. The intention to communicate. A lot of people communicate, not many connect. So when they're talking at you rather than with you, they're talking through you rather than for you. You're not creating an actual connection. So there's people who will, you know, vomit on you emotionally. And basically, if you're feeling like all of this is something that you need to reduce and inhibit, there's basically two directions that this can go. I will communicate to connect with people so I can be understood. There's an issue with I need to be understood. So I'm going to talk at you, which is toxic. And there's an issue with needing to be understood. So you're constantly trying to communicate to connect so as to be seen, which means you put yourself in a vulnerable state when you need to be seen, you need to be loved, and you induce a toxic behavior when you communicate in a way where you need to be seen. And in fact, you're hurting the other person because you're not connecting with them. You're vomiting all over them, right? So resolving that and having inner peace around that thing is something I've worked on. And I'm good. I have inner peace with that now. I don't have a problem with not being understood. I used to have a really big problem with it. But the problem is when you have the toxic behavior of giving too much or needing to receive too much. You need a balance, right? And so I will communicate to connect with people so I can be understood. The intent is to connect with them. The meaningful part that allows integration and healing is I need to be understood. And whether or not they validate that, it matters to me that I see myself, regardless of the connection of the relationship. And I feel myself, hear myself, deeply understand myself. It doesn't mean you force yourself onto people. You have the intention to connect. If they don't want to connect on that sense of self, your boundary, whatever it is, I have this need. I need you to respect it. Okay. Then that's where you have the opportunity to disconnect on ever talking about that specific thing ever again and to state your preference, to state your needs, to state your boundary. Look, I don't ever want you to bring up the fact that you don't like how I'm doing my job because I want to pursue something that is an entrepreneurial goal. And so your preference for me getting a job specific to something that I don't have the involvement in your life for, it doesn't connect on anything meeting your needs financially. And you're not paying me to go to school. So you don't have a right to say this. And this is my life, and I'm going to do what it is that I want to do. Right? You will respectfully say, I would prefer, you know, you would say, when people talk to me, this is how they get to communicate with me about this thing. And it's not okay that you communicate in this way. And if you want to communicate to me in a harmful way, telling me to go get a job and get a life, then the door is right there. You can walk away. You don't have to have a relationship with me. You basically give an opening for not having entertaining that part of the conversation again by stating your needs and your boundary, because the consequence of breaking a boundary and disrespecting someone is the relationship in health, because there's nothing else that's more powerful than being able to walk away and loving yourself. And either they abide by that and respect that, don't entertain that part of the conversation in the way that they want to force themselves onto you, or they don't. And then at that point, if they consistently break that boundary and you've made it very clear, you have done everything you can to communicate your best interests in connection to them. So you have good karma when you leave the relationship. You've communicated to connect with people so you can be understood. The intention to connect, very powerful. But if they don't want to connect and they want to communicate at you, hey, buddy, I got to go. It was up to them. They didn't want to make it up to them. So now it's up to you. Right. And so the last thing is in acceptance of this family, I will also raise someone else. Number 4. So the number three is tricky. Number four is pretty straightforward. You want to uplift the human spirit. In so doing, in accepting and uplifting yourself, you have to be willing to uplift others so as to train them, so as to be able to give and provide what you have provided yourself, to mentor, whatever, add value, to love them as you would love yourself. You have to duplicate and be an example of what you create for yourself, for other people, and be willing to give. Not only are you willing to receive feedback in number two, not only are you willing to be a sovereign human being in number one, in number three, not only are you willing to connect, but you're willing to give. You get the yin and the yang of giving and receiving at the same time in a relationship, being open, being transparent, being vulnerable, being loving. You do all those four things and you make it a cycle, you will have a healthy filter for relationships. You will know who you're meant to connect with and who you're not to. But you have to do all four. You're muted.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah,
I
of
think that
course.
answered all my question. I thank you very much. It's already midnight. Yeah.
Sure thing. Hey, I'll send you a recording of this, of our meetings, so you can review them when you want to.
All right. Thank you very much.
Of course. Would it be okay if I shared this meeting, or do you want to keep it private? This like last 40 minutes or whatever where you ask these questions.
You can share this last one. Maybe not the
Okay.
beginning. If
You think
this
it'll
last one is
benefit
okay.
someone?
Yeah,
I think it'll
probably because it
benefit
said a lot.
someone. Yeah.
Yeah, it said a lot.
All right. Thank you for that. So I'll share these with you.
Yeah.
And is there anything else you'd like to talk about before you go to sleep, man? We have 1 minute left.
No, I'm not even good. I'm not going to sleep. Like I'm having work. Like I have to work or something
Okay,
right
cool.
now.
So you let me know when you
Yeah.
want to get moving forward with things, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, Michael. Thank you very much for today. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having a relationship with me, a friend, and being open. I really appreciate you. I love you.
Yeah.
Keep taking care of the world, okay?
Yeah. Bye. Love you too. Bye.